Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Rider Kicks figure for Kamen Rider / Hanselnuts, Toe Gretel, and Hansel Bremen form change set. So that's a bit of a mouthful, but basically what that means, his normal base form is using the Hanselnuts, Toe Gretel One to Ride book, and then they also give you the form change pieces for his arm when he uses the Bremen No Rock Band One to Ride book, so you can do both of those forms, which is actually pretty cool. First off, love the box. I love that they got rid of the flap on top. I think it just looks a lot sharper. You have a cool picture of the figure over here. You have a picture of the suit over here. Looks great. Over here on this side, it shows you how to switch out the arm pieces for the Bremen No Rock Band form. And then you have a cool picture up here. On this side, you have this really neat timeline they've done where they show you the main 5 riders from this year. And then they also show 01 and Geo because they've done those years in Rider Kicks figures as well. Not too much going on the top, just says Rider Kicks figure, not really too much going on the bottom. And then around the back you have a pretty cool pic, shows that you do get the Onjuken Suzune in both sword and gun mode, as well as the arm and shoulder pad for the Bremen No Rock Band form. So pretty cool stuff here. I'm really impressed with what RKF's been doing this year. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff out of the box and we'll take a closer look. Here is Slash out of the packaging. I think they did a really nice job. Paint applications look nice. I love the white accents all down through the suit. Not really much going on the back, but there is enough brown and pink to break it up, so I think it works well. You do have the shoulder pads completely painted white, and that transferred to both sides. They didn't stop down the middle, which I appreciate. I really like the head sculpt, and I think they did a great job with the paint applications there. Really sharp. I also like the 3 little gamepad buttons here on his collar. I think that's really cool as well. It's a good looking figure. I like the color scheme. I think the paint applications look good. Pretty typical articulation for RKF. You have a ball joint in the neck, so you have a little bit of front to back. You have a little bit of side to side. For some reason, one side doesn't really want to move all that much, but if you work it out enough, it will. Now you have a little shoulder pad hinge there. You have, basically, it's a ball joint inside the shoulder in the torso, so it gives you almost like a butterfly joint. But it's just because the arm is on a ball joint that plugs in here, so you can kind of move that all the way around. Of course, there's also a hinge as well, and then you have a swivel here in the bicep. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. The wrist can swivel because really you can just pop this completely out because he does come with some different hands. So you can pop that. It's actually a little bit harder to peg in than you would expect because you can kind of see what a lip it has on it there. But it can go back in. There we go. And then that swivels around. You have a ball joint in the torso there, nothing in the waist itself. Let's see, hip you can kick forward, hip you can kick out to the side. Not too much going back because of the butt flap. Doesn't have a thigh swivel, but because it's a ball joint, it can kind of rock around to give you a little bit of movement there side to side. You have a little bit over 90 degrees in the knee, and then you have a ball joint in the ankle. Now both of these, I feel like the ball joint has a little bit more stalk than it needs. I feel like the foot should be a little bit closer to the ankle collar. I don't really know what you would call the ankle ring, whatever you want to call that. I just feel like there's a little bit too much there. I would have had it a little bit closer. But it's not a big deal. It's just a minor nitpick. And you can see the bottom of the feet are not that exciting. There's some random numbers and things painted on there. But overall, I think it's a good looking figure. I really do like what they've done. Really stepped up the detailing in the paint applications. Speaking of which, he does come with some accessories. We have 2 versions of his sword. The Onjuken Suzune. Here we have the sword mode. It has a book popped in and open because he's transformed. Really nice blue paint here on the blade. Then we have the gun version. Again, nice blue paint here. Also has the book open. And they fit very simply into his hand. So we'll just go ahead, pop this in. As you can see, we'll try the sword mode instead. Pretty cool. Not a ton of paint applications. There's nothing on the back, but I'm pretty happy with the amount that we got on the front there. I think that looks pretty good. He does also come with an additional hand of him holding a book. They all basically come with this. Now the others, it would make sense because they can use it to touch to the tip of their sword. His sword doesn't do that, but you could just pretend that he's about to plug another one into the top of his sword, something like that, or you could just have him holding the book however you want to pose it, but he does come with that extra hand. Now to go ahead and try out the Bremen no Rock Band, I guess armor accessory or form change accessory, whatever you want to call it. Very similar to Kenzan and Buster. You just go ahead and pop off this arm at the bicep swivel there. Then you're going to bring in the Bremen no Rock Band arm. Now, you can see it does have the horns and the instruments here kind of on the shoulder pad and down the forearm. I wish there were a few paint applications there just to kind of really make them pop. I understand why they didn't, but it would have been nice. Now you're going to have a bicep swivel there. You're going to have 90 degrees in the elbow. It's a little tight, but it can move. There's no hand attached, but he does actually come with an additional hand. A little bit more open hand there, so I'm just going to go ahead and peg that in. And then we're going to peg this in here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and take off the shoulder pad as well, because that's going to come off. So this will be a little bit easier to do it this way. Go ahead and peg that on like so. So you can see that's nice and pegged on there. Now you still have the shoulder pad, and they give you a new shoulder pad piece, which I guess kind of looks like a speaker. You can see that there. And this is going to peg on like this, I believe. And there you go. And now you have the speaker shoulder pad to give him the entire Bremen no Rock Band arm. So there you go. There is the form change. It doesn't look that exciting, mostly because it's all very pink. It doesn't pop very much, so it's hard to really distinguish it that much from his normal arm, unfortunately, but I at least appreciate what they've done. Now, the other thing you can do, if we go ahead and take this off again, take this off, and then I will take this hand out. We can use some of the other ones, like the three little pigs that came with Kenzan. You can actually peg that in, and then peg this pink hand in. And then I guess we should put this shoulder pad back on. So that's pretty cool. You can actually switch those around. Now, because this one works, the Jack and the Beanstalk one that came with Buster should also work, because both of those worked on Kenzan, and this one pops in here really easily. So I think that's kind of cool. That's 3 different figures with 3 different power-up forms that you can switch between all 3. So that's pretty neat. Now, I wouldn't know exactly how this one would work, because the other guys I don't think have shoulder pads. I'd have to go back and look, but you could at least switch out the forearms if you wanted. So there is that. But I think that's pretty cool that you can actually pop that on. So I'm going to take that off and put his normal arm back on. And it's not going to work with Blades or Espada or Saber, because their forearms aren't meant to pop off, because they don't change that way. But it should work with Buster and Kenzan and Slash here. So really very cool. I like it a lot. Comes with a ton of accessories. I mean, you have 2 versions of the weapon. You have the shoulder pad and the extra forearm. And then you have the hand holding the book. And then you have the extra open hand. So it's a pretty decent amount of accessories for this figure. I'm actually really impressed with it. And like I said, I think the paint applications look good. The design's good. Absolutely love the helmet. They did such a good job with that. Yeah, I recommend it. Like I said, I've been really enjoying RKF this year. I feel like they've been stepping it up, doing better than usual. So I'm really, really impressed with it. We also got all 6 of the riders before Soto got to them. So there is that. I usually love Soto, and I still do. Don't get me wrong. But I'm actually really happy that I continued with RKF this year, because I honestly, for a time, I thought maybe I'll just stick to Soto and I'll give up on RKF, but they've really stepped it up. I think the RKF figures for Saber are definitely some of the best we've gotten. The armor was fun with Geo. 01s were fine, but there wasn't really too much going on, and most of them didn't even have accessories, so that was kind of a letdown. But they've really come back and stepped it up for Saber. They've done great paint applications, good articulation. The form change with some of the figures really works. It's simple, but it's effective. Most, if not all, of the paint. Most, if not all, of the weapons have paint on them, which is very impressive because lots of times we did not get any paint on any of the accessories previously. So it's nice that they're stepping up in that regard as well. And I think it's proof that I would rather pay a couple dollars more to get a more fleshed out figure, a more detailed painted figure. I've said that even about American figures. You know, if you're going to charge me an extra dollar or two to really give all the paint applications that it should have, I'm fine with that. I'm really fine with that. I'd rather you do that than kind of, half do the figure and try to cut costs and make it, close to good but not really that great. So I'm really happy with what they've done here. And I'm going to keep going with RKF for the rest of the year, and hopefully next year they'll continue the quality. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.